You know, a lot of people, not a lot, but some people are saying that they're opposed to critical race theory being taught in the schools. And they're not really offering up a good solution as to why. I mean, they're saying that, it's a theory, and that, if you teach it, kids will end up undoubtedly disliking your country. You know, crazy things like that. And you know, there's no proof of this kind of thing. No proof of it whatsoever that that'll happen. And even if it does happen, it's sort of kind of like saying, we're not going to tell you the truth because, we assume that you'll be too upset with the truth. And, no, and therefore, we're going to continue to be dishonest with you, disingenuous, and in a lot of cases, just plain out lie to you. That's literally what they're telling kids. We're going to lie to you. We're not going to tell you the truth because, the truth might make you angry about your own country. You know, I'm not sure what they're going to be able to teach. Because if you can't teach critical race theory, you probably can't talk about the Tulsa race massacre that most of the country just found out occurred 100 years ago, almost a century ago. Well, more than a century ago now. You know, that probably couldn't be taught in school how it went down. That it was a race massacre where white men predominantly went into a black, wealthy, affluent community and just started murdering black people. You know, you couldn't teach that in the classroom. You probably couldn't teach about the civil rights movement in the classroom either, about the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and Bloody Sunday, and the March on Selma. No, you probably couldn't teach that John Lewis got his head bashed in by a police officer who wanted to kill him. You know, you couldn't teach any of these things. You can't teach anything about, Martin Luther King, because then you would have to tell the kids that, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated by a white supremacist government and a white supremacist. You can't teach about Malcolm X either, because, Malcolm X was assassinated. You can't teach about the Black Panther Party, because a lot of the leaders of the movement in the party, they were assassinated by the local police forces. You can't teach about, pretty much anything, because, everything has to do with race in America. I always say, the moment you get here, you're inundated with race. There's no way around it. You gotta choose. You gotta put up your defenses, so to speak. That's America in a nutshell. And Fox News is the biggest proponent of, bringing on critics of their critical race theory, saying that, it's such a horrible thing. And a lot of citizens think that it shouldn't be taught to their children. And they'll go out of their way to find somebody who's of African descent to say critical race theory is just Marxism. It's just communism dressed up. And you gotta be careful. You can't teach kids theories, crazy theories. Now, Fox News, on the other hand, can sit each night and theorize all kinds of crazy things. You know, that an election was rigged and stolen, and machines, didn't tabulate the votes correctly, switch votes. The Republican Party in Arizona can tabulate theories stating that, the ballots, they might have had bamboo from China that, they need to scan for UV lights. You can theorize about those kind of things. You can even theorize that, a virus might have escaped the lab in Wuhan purposefully by the CCP party. That stands for the Communist Chinese Party. You can theorize that, the FBI set up the, January 6th insurrectionists. And, that was a plot by the FBI to ensnare people from, right-wing extremist groups. You can do all of those theories. You can theorize that, The reason that Chicago and Portland and the rest of these major cities are getting so violent is because, well, the Democrats want to get rid of local police so they can federalize all police forces in major cities. You can theorize all of those things on Fox News, no problem. But if you talk about that, well, every founding father that was, well, considered a founding father of this republic owned and sold slaves, and one was a child rapist and pedophile in Thomas Jefferson, who raped Sally Hemings. You know, that theory, critical race theory, you can't talk about that. That's a no go. Kids can't learn about that. You know, it's hypocritical to say the least. But it's never surprising with these people because at the end of the day, critical race theory holds true that all of the systems of the United States, you know, the foundation of it, are based and systemically racist. And we all know that, well, the foundation of America was founded on slave labor. And, well, it was the colonists, seventhly. You know, you came here and settled the land from the indigenous people. You colonized them first. So the first original sin was genocide towards the indigenous. The second original sin was slavery. Either way you slice it, that was the foundation of, well, what would soon become America. And, well, now that hurts people's feelings. And so it can't be taught. So like in other times where people didn't like their feelings being hurt, you know, in ancient Kemet, when they burned all the books. And, well, in Nazi Germany, when Hitler was like, we can't have these kids teach these things and learn these things. Bring the books to burn. We have banned books here. And now in America, you can't teach certain things in the classroom. You have certain people that tell you, you can't learn about these things. Kids can't learn about these things. But they never offer up the example of when they should learn. You know, what age is appropriate to learn that America is a racist nation and has done some horrible things to the African American community? What age is a good age to learn that? You know, they'll never tell you because they don't want you to learn at any age. They want you to remain ignorant. Like they say, ignorance is bliss. Well, I'm a strong supporter of critical race theory. I think, well, if you don't state what happened, you're doomed to repeat it again. And people should know what happened. That way, well, they're aware. And, well, it offers a check and balance. It makes them, well, more humble. More, well, aware of their privilege. Aware of their past. And, well, hopefully they'll make better choices in the future. That's the goal. And, well, I'm a big supporter of critical race theory. And just because, well, corporations and conservatives and Christians get together and say, well, our favorite boogeyman is always Marxism. So say it's Marxist. And if a lot of people buy it, well, that's what we need them to do. You know, just because you throw the label of Marxist on everything doesn't mean that it is. In this case, we have undoubted, unfiltered evidence that, well, the foundation of America was based in slavery and founded on, well, systemic racism. I mean, you can't dispute the fact yet, or I haven't heard one of you clowns dispute the fact yet, that all the founding fathers owned slaves. Maybe now you want to, well, scratch those people as founding fathers now. Who knows? You never know.